Alright, let's see how short and simple this video can be. So, the nominations just dropped, and now it's time to vote. I will be talking about some of the nominees and what I think deserves to win, what I think is going to win, and if some of these nominees shouldn't even be nominees in the first place, and what I would say as a replacement. So, just a heads up, all of the esports, they will be skipped. I do not care about them, nor am I going to give input. We are going to work from the bottom up. So Game of the Year will be saved for the last. So for Content Creator of the Year, we have Iron Mouse, People Make Games, Quackity, Spreen, and Cypher. I've only heard of Quackity and Iron Mouse. I have no idea who Spreen is, or Cypher. I think I've heard of People Make Games before, but I'm not sure. But because I have a bias, I will be voting for Iron Mouse. Who do I think is going to win? Probably Iron Mouse, because of these, I think Iron Mouse is the biggest, I think. Because I don't recognize the others, personally speaking, but that could just be because their type of content doesn't match what I personally watch, so there's that. So Iron Mouse has my vote. Next up, most anticipated game. Let me think. So, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, or Final Fantasy VII Disc 2, Hades 2, which there's barely any information out on, I believe, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, or Yakuza 8, Star Wars Outlaws, I barely remember anything about it, and then Tekken 8. Let me think. Of these five, what am I most looking forward to? Probably Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, honestly. I'd absolutely replace Outlaws and Hades 2 with something else. But I do not remember what other games that have been announced that are coming out in 2024 that I'm looking forward to. I do not remember because my memory is shoddy. But my vote is going for Rebirth. Next up, Best Adaptation. So you got Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, The Super Mario Bros. Movie, and Twisted Metal. I've only seen one of these, and only one of these has been widely talked about and has been good, and that's the Mario Bros. Movie. I do not remember a damn game to show / movie adaptation this year, so I have no say in replacements. Alright, best multiplayer, I think I'm going to skip. Same thing with sports and racing, and then sim strategy. Family, I'm probably going to skip. Fighting, let's move on to best RPG. So, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield. Starfield is buggy as hell, and from what I heard, the story is not good. Sea of Stars I've never experienced, not even watch a playthrough of. I might do a blind first playthrough of it, if you guys would be interested in that. Lies of P, half experienced, half not. I haven't fully experienced the game yet, but from what I've seen, it's pretty good. Final Fantasy 16, I've experienced the story in full, and I kind of like it. And then same thing with Baldur's Gate 3, where I've barely experienced it. I've only watched streams of it, and they're still stuck in the first chapter, so I have no say in that. What I think is going to win is probably Baldur's Gate 3. It's still the talk of the town, it has a ton of replayability value, it's probably going to win. But my personal vote is going towards 16. It's going to be a battle between these two, that's 100% certain. Armored Core 6, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. I've experienced bits and pieces of Armored Core 6. I fully experienced Hi-Fi Rush. I have no clue about the other three. My vote is going towards Hi-Fi Rush. As for what else could have been nominated here, let me think. I honestly don't remember. So, I think these are fine. Granted, I think Dead Island, Ghost Runner, and Remnant should have been away, because I barely heard anything about them. Skipping VR AR. Best mobile game. Why, that's easy. Honkai Star Rail, nothing else matters. I haven't heard anything from Ever Crisis. I didn't know Hello Kitty had a mobile game. I don't recall hearing anything about Monster Hunter now. And then Terra Nil, I've never heard of it, so. Indie debut, indie game, community support I will vote on, though. So we got Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, because of course, and No Man's Sky. I think Final Fantasy 14 is going to win because that community is insane. But I have seen glowing reviews from the community for Baldur's Gate 3, so that'll probably be my vote. Because I haven't touched Final Fantasy 14, and I don't intend to. I don't like MMOs. Best ongoing game. Same thing here. I think 14 is going to win, but my vote is for Genshin Impact. You got Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, and Fortnite. I'm surprised 2077 is considered an ongoing game, even though I'm pretty sure the main campaign is finished. But I have no idea if Phantom Liberty ends on a cliffhanger, where there is going to be a second wave of DLC to come out with more updates, so I'm not 100% certain. So I gotta experience that first. Games for Impact, gonna skip. Innovation and accessibility, I'm gonna skip. Best performance. You got Ben Starr, who was Clive, Cameron Monaghan, who was the main character, Idris Elba, who was also Knuckles from Sonic 2, the movie that is, Lee Bird from Alan Wake 2, don't know of her, Neil Newbon, who was Astarion, and then Yuri Lowenthal. Between Yuri and Ben, I have no idea who's going to win. I honestly feel like the only reason why Astarion's voice actor is here is because a bunch of people were mega horny for the vampire. That's the only reason why he was nominated. Granted, I haven't fully experienced Astarion's story, so I'm not 100% certain, but I think my vote is going towards Yuri Lowenthal. I've been a fan of his ever since I first experienced his voice as, I believe, Ben 10, and then I heard him as Rollin from Spectrobes, specifically Spectrobes Origins, which is one of my favorite Wii games of all time. And not only that, but I learned about him through Persona, as he was not only the voice of Yosuke from Persona 4, but also the main protagonist from the original Persona 3. So that was awesome. And now he's Spider-Man, and he does a fantastic Spider-Man. Like, holy crap, he's probably the best voice of Spider-Man we've ever had. So he's got my vote. I don't know who's going to win, though. It's either going to be Yuri or Ben. Depends on how Astarion's story is. Audio design, I'm probably going to skip. Score and music. What was that one again? Alan Wake 2, never heard. Well, the music for Baldur's Gate 3, barely remember any of the tracks. This is probably going to be a battle between Final Fantasy 16 and Hi-Fi Rush. I'm probably going to give it to Hi-Fi Rush because I remember the music for this game more than I do for Final Fantasy 16. Art direction, I'm probably skip. Narrative, I'm probably going to skip. So, best game direction. I saw a video of the Baldur's Gate 3 team, and that was pretty much it. Tears of the Kingdom does not deserve it, or Mario Bros. Wonder. And I'm saying that because Tears of the Kingdom is just Breath of the Wild again, but with more to do. But it still feels like a Breath of the Wild. I mean, of course, it's a sequel, but there's not enough different going on, and there's a ton of unanswered questions, like what happened to the Guardians, you know? How, and the biggest question of all, spoiler alert, by the way, if both King Rauru and Queen Sophia die, then how the hell did the Hylian lineage continue? Did those two have a son/daughter? And if so, what happened to him? Because I highly doubt Minoru continued the bloodline. Very doubtful on that. So, I think Baldur's Gate 3 is probably going to win. My vote, however, is probably going to go to Baldur's Gate 3. And I'm saying that because I'm not particularly a fan of Spider-Man 2's story overall. I think the first game was better, but the second game definitely has its moments. and now, the one you've all been waiting for. I have 4 minutes to talk smack about the Game of the Year nominations. Alan Wake 2, I haven't experienced whatsoever, but even then, I feel like it shouldn't be nominated. Baldur's Gate 3 rightfully deserves its nomination. It's more than likely going to win out of any of these 6. Spider-Man 2 came out way too quickly, and the nominations for it was way too quick. I'm of the opinion that the Game Awards should wait until January to do a show, because that's all of November and all of December you have for new games to be released. Why are we doing it before the end of the year? Why can't we wait until after the year ends and do a show in January? Like, wait until the last game comes out in December and then do a show. Like, come on. Anyway. Resident Evil 4 is a remake, and from what I heard, you either love it or you're like, this has remake syndrome where the remake is not good, but it does have some nice qualities to it. Mario Bros, not a particularly huge fan of the series, because it's basically just the same game again and again and again, but with a new coat of paint every single time, just like Call of Duty. Except this game is kind of better, because you know what to expect, I guess? I don't know. I might be talking out of my ass here. And then Tears of the Kingdom, probably the most disappointing AAA title game to date, or at the very least for this year. The story was awful. It was repetitive as hell. Yeah, not a good game in the slightest, honestly. The Zona devices were pretty cool. I feel like the Ultra Hand fusing thing could have been done way better. And even then, I would rather, take materials and craft my own weapons to make actual cool-looking weapons, rather than, I take glue to these 2 items and I stick them together, and now I have a junk weapon. Cool, awesome. I honestly think, so, in my opinion, Alan Wake 2, Resident Evil 4, Mario Bros. Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom should not be nominated. I think instead, what should be nominated is Final Fantasy XVI, Hi-Fi Rush, and, honestly speaking, Master Detective's Archive, Raincoat. I feel like those 3 games... Oh, and one more after Resident Evil. I can't think of any, so... meh. But, yeah. So, that leaves Baldur's Gate 3 and Marvel Spider-Man 2. I think my vote is going towards Baldur's Gate 3. If anything, I think it deserves Game of the Year of these 6. And if anything, I think it's going to win Game of the Year of 2023. So that's that. So, those are my picks. What did you agree with? What did you disagree with? And what do you think should have been nominated for Game of the Year instead? I've been Ryukishi, and I'll see you next time.